You're nothing. Trash. That's what the old cop spat at me, loud enough for the whole block to hear. And maybe that was the point because it's never just about you when it happens, right? He spit at my feet like that was supposed to break me. No ID, no address, no reason to be here. So what are you? But I just looked at him, and, it's wild how you can feel both tired and fire-breathing at the same time. I asked him, how many times does a black man gotta stand still and still get hit? And when my old bad beat-up piece of metal from a life I left behind hit the pavement, the street just froze. You ever seen a whole city block go silent? I have. Right then, it wasn't about me anymore. The only question left wasn't for me. It was for everybody watching who they just mess with. What kind of place is this, where respect still rides on the color of your skin? It was noon in South Bend, and the heat was mean, the kind that climbs off the sidewalk and grabs you by the throat. Expensive cars glided by, windows up, ice-cold air inside, folks sweating it out outside, all pretending not to notice each other. I must have looked out a Placio worn-out coat that maybe once cost real money, now more rags than anything else, old book tucked under my arm, face set. I crossed the street, didn't hurry. The glass fronts of those designer shops threw sunlight like spotlights, made everyone's white dresses look even whiter, suits darker, shoes shined up to blinding. I was just reading the menu outside this French cafe, trying to decide if I even had the guts to walk in, and every pair of eyes in a 50-foot radius was on me. No one said anything, but you could feel the sharpness of their stares, how they whispered and waited. Then the blue lights flickered on. Not a siren, not this time. Just a young cop across the street, fresh uniform, face too clean, jaw too tight. He picked up the radio, voice calm, too calm, suspicious black male, standing outside Café Lome. Backup requested. Backup from a standing with a book. I've seen this dance before. The old cop who showed up Pruker wore authority like body armor, stiff as his starched uniform. He walked right up, slow, deliberate, eyes running me up and down like I was a stain he couldn't scrub out. That book got words in it, he asked, voice dripping with that kind of slow poison that they teach you to swallow, never spit back. I just looked at him, just reading the menu. He sneered, like that answer meant I was a threat. This is a high-end area. You don't belong here, and you could feel the crowd tightening, folks stepping back. Nobody wanted to be the one called to testify if this went wrong. He pulled on his gloves, not for safety, but for show, like he wanted me to see it was in charge here. Empty your bag. I didn't flinch. Unless you got a warrant, or I'm under arrest, you don't have a right. You could feel it shift in the air like I'd tossed a rock at a beehive. Oh, so you read the law now? His eyes went cold. You don't know where you're standing. I stood my ground. That's the only thing they can't take if you're stubborn enough. The next minute is a blur-rooker grabbing my arm, twisting me against the glass. You know that sound, don't you? Your body hitting something hard, the whole street stopping to watch. Hands up, don't move, he barked. I felt the young cop's eyes on me, unsure, shaky, but he wasn't about to step in. I didn't resist. What's the point? If you fight, you're a threat. If you stand still, you're still a threat. I said it out loud, maybe just for myself. If I fight, it's violence. If I stay still, it's submission. Either way, I get hit. And then the real twist the crowd. It started with a teenager, shaky phone up, streaming, whispering, what are they doing? People stopped, pretending not to see. A woman in a checkered dress stepped forward. What did he do wrong? The cop tried to brush her off, but you could feel it. Folks weren't swallowing it anymore. Phones went up. Voices joined in. He didn't do anything. Let him go. We're recording. The power shifted just a little, but enough to rattle the old cop. He started yanking through my pockets, dumping out everything I owned, treating it all like garbage. And then it happened. Need a metal card, scratched and faded, rolled onto the sidewalk. At first, nobody paid it any mind. Then the young cop, Davis, picked it up, turned it over, and went pale. His voice barely a whisper. Captain, you need to see this. You know those moments when the world just goes quiet? The sun hit the card, and suddenly everyone could see it. United States Supreme Court, active clearance, federal code. That's when the panic set in, not for me, but for them. Rooker tried to play it off, kicked the badge, spat another insult, but the crowd had seen enough. What if I'm real? I asked finally. Nobody had an answer. And that was the point. Davis, the young cop, stood there, sweating bullets, realizing maybe for the first time in his life that silence is a choice, too. I could see it breaking him from the inside. Rooker's voice was losing its edge. The crowd, once afraid to speak, now started asking questions, demanding answers. Why are you treating him like this? Is it because he's black? The words landed heavy. I turned to the cameras. I won't sue. I don't want compensation. I don't need an apology. But your children will ask why. That line, man, that's the one that sticks. Because in the end, that's what it's really about, not just the names on the badges, but what we leave for the next ones who gotta walk these same sidewalks. The fallout was immediate. Media swarmed, headlines screamed. South Bend police caught on tape assaulting a Supreme Court nominee in broad daylight. The old case files got dredged up, my name splashed everywhere, every old hurt, and every time the system tried to shut me up. Folks started remembering a black boy named Malik, shot in his yard for nothing, a prosecutor who got pushed out for speaking up, a badge that wasn't supposed to mean anything anymore except that it did. Even the young cop, Davis, finally broke his silence. Posted a video, no hashtags, no spin. I was there, I said nothing. That was a choice, and it was wrong. You know what? Sometimes it just takes one person doing the right thing a little too late to shake up the whole house of cards. South Bend split in two, protesters on one side, flags and slogans on the other. The city didn't just divide over me. It split over what folks were willing to see and what they were willing to name. I got threats, sure letters slid under my door, a firebomb through my window. I didn't run. I held community forums, let people say what they needed to say, listen more than I talk, because sometimes that's the loudest thing you can do. Kids asked if I forgave the men who did this. I said, forgiveness isn't forgetting. It's choosing not to let the crease in the paper tear the whole page. You know what I mean? The lawsuits came, the investigation started, the names of those old cases got dragged out of the dark. Truth is, I never wanted to be a symbol. I just wanted the system to look itself in the eye, even if only for a second, and admit what it had become. The world didn't get fixed overnight. Some folks still look the other way. Some find new ways to be silent. But after all of it, I learned something: they can push you out, erase your name, call you trash, but they can't make you vanish, not if you stand still long enough for the whole world to see you. And maybe, just maybe, if enough people finally stop looking away, the next kid won't have to. So what about you? When your children ask, why did this happen? What will you say? Don't let my story be the only answer. Speak up. Stand somme wäre. Pick a side. Because silence, if that's the oldest tool of all. Yeah, that happened. And it's still happening. You move. Now, let's talk. Do you think justice is just a word, or is it something we got to fight for, right here, right now? Share your truth. The conversation's just getting started.